Hello Huples Cat. I'm going to go on a little tiny bug out, and this one is going to be pandemic bug out, and I'll explain in a minute.
I can't help you.
Oh, we need help, please.
Stop right where you are. Don't come any closer, I'm infected.
I'm scared, my baby.
I'm sorry, baby.
But first, I wanted to show you my office. Yep, we're getting close to moving. Look what Kitty did to our horrible, horrific basement. She threw some paint on. Hello, Marmalade. Marmalade's a very good cat. And being a cat, she's nocturnal. But I do think Wolfred's got up as well. So this one's slightly different from the other one. This one I have to go about 14 kilometres to get picked up in a car by a family friend who's also been caught short by this, and it's going to drive us as close as we can get to the Shire, and Kitty's then going to come and pick us up there after we walk a bit from where we have to abandon the car. Things are very dire. Society has definitely wobbled. What in this situation is I can't use highways. The police and the army have long since been on the ramps of the 400 series highways in Ontario. But we're now currently experiencing a fresh bout of COVID flying around the world that's killing about 25 to 30% of everybody that catches it in about 2 to 4 days in quite horrific ways. So obviously healthcare is actually overwhelmed, not just doctors talking about it, and everything's in a bizarre state. So the setup is I'm at home, we're about to move, and hopefully we have moved before October, but maybe not. And so I don't really have any supplies here, I haven't got a car, I have made the fatal mistake of having no bicycle, because remember, one of my tenets here is wherever you are, always have a bicycle, because a bicycle is a force multiplier in a bug out or a get home situation, as I will demonstrate in a few weeks. Well, I've got the house staged to sell it, and I've got everything boxed up. And now I have to leave quickly. Got to make some tough decisions about what to take. So it's October the 12th, 2021. The Cummers virus, COVID and MERS have merged, and there's a 25 to 35% death rate within a week or so for anybody that catches this. It's flying around the globe. All the previous vaccines used on COVID don't seem effective or very effective. Hospitals are actually overwhelmed, but so is everything else. Nobody's going to work. Grocery store workers aren't showing up. Everybody's panicking, like terrified, and basically nailed up at home. And of course the governments have enforced a stay-at-home order that's actually a stay-at-home order.
That's why today, on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, I'm declaring a state of emergency with a province-wide stay-at-home order effective 12:01 a.m. Thursday. This will be in effect for 4 weeks.
There is rumours in some parts of the world, like Iran where this developed or started, that they're actually killing people who are on the streets, who aren't in uniform or aren't working with the army or the police. I hope it doesn't get that bad here, but I'm concerned. So I want to get to the Shire, where all my supplies are, my family are, as fast as I can. Don't have a car, made a mistake, don't have any bicycles here, and I consider that a huge prepping mistake in real terms. You should have a bike with you. So what I did yesterday, because cell phones are working, is I got hold of a family friend, and she's in a dire situation. She's out of food as well and quite frightened. So I'm going to walk 14 kilometres, just under 10 miles, and I'm going to be picked up by her. So then we're going to drive as close to the Shire as we can. Fortunately, she has a gasoline vehicle, so there's no way she can make it all the way, and gasoline is not being sold right now. And then we're going to walk, and Kitty's then going to pick us up. She knows approximately where the car's going to run out of gas. She knows approximately what time we'll be there. It's fairly time sensitive. I have to get to the pickup point as fast as I can. I've set out a bit late because I'm quite tired and stressed trying to arrange all this, so it is still dark, but sun will be up in about an hour. So most of this video will not be in the dark. So again, I'm going to go minimal kit because I think it's important, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to take. Because this is a pandemic one, I'll be wearing a mask. I'm taking extra masks, N95 for this. Taking water tablets in case I need water en route. I am taking a knife. I would normally have this in this type of bug out scenario visible. I'm not going to have it visible. I'm kind of concerned about police. And for self-defense, an umbrella, which was suggested to me by OG Skywatch in California. And cheers mate, good suggestion. There's a few other things you can do with umbrellas, which I will feature, but not today. So basically what you're going to get to see from this video is walking at night out of a city, trying to avoid police, trying to avoid cars, trying to avoid people in a pandemic. And I'm using a route that I wouldn't normally take because my normal route's been sealed off because of the nature of the emergency. There's still a lot of people who are healthy, but they're all scared stiff and the governments have slammed down the highway system. It is shut. I really don't want to risk trying to cross the highway either by foot or bike or car. No chance I want to do that. We've been told to stay at home and in no circumstances leave, and to call numbers for assistance if you're ill, but not if you need medical help, because none's available.
So I've set off. I have my umbrella to stop the rain getting on my head, but also to keep people away from me. And we'll see that maybe later on. Maybe I'll get a surprise attacker. The other thing, of course, is I'm wearing the N95. You have to, if there's an airborne infection or if there's a risk of blood spray that's infected. It makes sense. Everybody knows it makes sense. A whole lot of rubbish online about that right now. Wear one around people in an airborne pandemic, please. There's a few other things that I have in the pack, which I'll show you when it gets light. I'm going directly away from the Shire because of the highway being sealed off. Sometimes the quickest route, the safest route, will not be the most direct route. So have multiple different routes in your head, how to get home from work, or how to get to a bug out or a friend's location from home or from work. Figure it out in advance. So in this case, the route only actually takes me about 100 yards down a very quiet road, crossing one somewhat busier road. What I'll do is I wait for traffic to break before I cross, and then go across that way. There is more traffic than there normally would be for a bug out like this, because it's about 5:30 in the morning. So this one's a little different. I'm walking mostly in the road because I don't want actually to be close to doorways or hidden entrances. I don't want people coming suddenly upon me. I don't much care if people see me. I don't really want the police stopping me. I am quite close to home on the urban section, so I can just say I was out for a walk and they'll tell me off. But I want to get moving. I want to get picked up. I want to get the heck out of here before it gets worse. So I'm basically waiting until there's no traffic coming, and then I dash across. And in about 40 meters, about 50 yards, I will be safe. So we're going about 10-15 minutes. It's a much faster clip than it has been before. I'm about to get into a bit of a narrow trail section, and I'm overheating. So before I get much more overheated, I'm going to pull off into this deserted car park, because it's well away from people, to strip down and get comfortable. You don't want to be sweating. Don't get excited and over sweat in the first half an hour to an hour. It's not about getting out as fast as you can. The building's not on fire. So I'm a lot cooler. I'm still reasonably warm. I have the coat open and I have the sweatshirt off and in the pack. When you get to 2 ways to go, in a most bug out scenarios, the way you're going to take is the least travelled route and away from buildings. So in this particular case, my normal route would be that way, but I'm actually going to take this way, which is a bit longer but a lot more secure. So this is the bridge underneath the last major road before I get out into the rural environment where I'll feel a lot more secure. Well, for me, dawn's firmly risen. It's still pretty dark on the camera. A couple of things: didn't hydrate, just had 1 cup of coffee before I left. Big mistake. I'm pushing this one as hard as I can in terms of walking. I'm not actually running any sections, but I'm walking really fast. And I'm really getting hot. So at this point, this needs to come off as well, and I need to drink. As I said last time, as soon as you stop, you cool right down quite quickly. So that's where I'm going to have to go to. That's the river. That's where it came from. At this point, I've done about 4 kilometers. Well, I feel a lot better. I've stripped down. Should have done it earlier on, but like I said, I'm going to be picked up. I want to be early to assess what's happening at the pickup spot. I don't want to be on time, and I definitely don't want to be late. So in a sudden or a protracted pandemic that suddenly becomes more lethal, so you're going to get a huge response from the public. They're going to hide, they're going to stay at home. They're not actually going to be much threat to you. There is 3 threats in this early phase scenario. The first is official, the police. Who are you, where are you going? It's a stay-at-home order, why aren't you at home? So if you see the police, you go up to them, keeping distance, with a decent mask on, say, "Hey officers, I know I'm not supposed to be out. I'm actually going home from a friend's. My name is David Robinson and I live at XYZ. Local knowledge, pick a big building that is about 2 miles away. Chances are they'll tell you to go and you'll be free to go. But you have to have a good name, you have to be approachable, you have to initiate the conversation, you have to not look shirty, you must not look desperate. The other threat is desperate. My baby's not breathing, my husband's not waking up. People rushing out of the houses panic-stricken because their loved one is dead or dying in a pandemic. That's what the umbrella's for. Keep the distance. I'll show you that later on. The other one, of course, is the MAD. The MAD means mental. It also means aggressive. Unlikely to encounter them in the early phase of this type of a thing, but it is a threat. For that reason, I have a knife in my backpack, well hidden. A nice, good, decent knife. My goal is not to get close to people. My goal is to stay away from them. And so far I have. Like I said, always have alternative routes. In this case, I can go that way or that way. That's the way I want to go because it's actually going to connect me where I want to go, keep me away from people. However, this is the way I came and I saw one bicycle in 2 miles. Not a bad route. But depending on what's going on, if security is a massive problem, when I entered this, I could actually swing around for 3 miles and come out there. Guaranteed I wouldn't have seen anybody on that trail. It's a hardly used trail at all. But where you can use bike trails and roads, providing it's safe to do so. Morning.
Any birds?
Just ducks. Hey. You said it's just ducks this morning. Bikes really are a force multiplier. One of the things people commonly do when they're taking rest breaks, if they're on foot or if they're on car or if they're on bike, is they stop dead where they are because they're tired. And of course you're tired, but in this particular case, if I wanted a rest break right now, I'm heading into that area or that area or that area. The extra 2-3 minutes of activity gets me off the path, gets me away from visual people, gives me an extra layer of security so people who've got the coma's virus can't come close to me. That's also appropriate in various other scenarios.
This is a sick baby production.
2021. Oh.
Don't worry, he survives.